So many of the transformation methods out there are mind-based. They are built on masculine energy or masculine paradigms, and they also don't fully touch on this concept of embodiment, which is so important for those of us who have any point felt disconnected from our bodies, because our bodies are our center and our source of our authentic selves and our power. I love this topic that we're going to get into today because I think there is so much power that women who are self-aware, sensitive, working on themselves, growth-oriented are not yet tapping into. So if you've been doing the work and you've just been waiting for that new reality to land, here are the steps that helped me go from continuously trying to reinvent myself over and over again, doing all of the work, showing up, and trying so hard to become that version of me that I've always dreamed of and knew was possible, from it being just a vision and a dream to an actual lived reality. These are the steps that helped me become her, without acting or pretending, without the imposter syndrome, without building a life that I just ended up burning down later, or an identity that I ended up burning down later. And I just wanted to preface by saying that wherever you are on your journey is perfect. I know that with transformation, with trying to get to that next level, that next breakthrough, it can feel like a hamster wheel, like you're constantly running either towards something or away from something. And if that's what your transformation journey feels like, then this video is for you. Because the thing is, when you are on a cycle of transformation where you are stuck, just running on that wheel, that to me, knowing what I know now, is a sign that I was getting stuck in methods and practices that were not helping me to embody the change that I was calling in. So that's the first sign that I want to speak to, that when you're trying to call in change into your life, when you've been doing the work, and it just feels like the work goes on and on and on, and it feels like there's always something more, there's something missing, there's that dangling carrot in your face, and thinking that, oh, if I just keep going, keep getting to that next layer, keep trying, like it, while yes, it is necessary and beautiful at times to have that push and that desire for moving through the hard things, like doing the work that you're doing, it also is supposed to come with reciprocal rewards. Here's the thing, I think that where a lot of women get tripped up with their transformation journey is that they do the work, they have no issue doing the work and showing up for that part, the hard part, but the issue is that they don't receive the results, or they receive breadcrumbs and just pieces of what they know is coming and what is possible for them. And this is how, for the longest time, I moved through self-healing and transformation. I would accept that this is just what it looks like to go through a transformative process. It's just really hard work. It's a struggle. And if it's not a struggle, if it's not hard, it means you're not doing enough. This is what I would tell myself subconsciously for sure, and sometimes even consciously, which now I know it's not true for me anymore. And I was gonna say it's not the truth, but honestly, when our bodies are programmed and conditioned to work from this place of never enough, it does feel true to us in that version of ourselves. So there is a shift that happens from the version of us that feels never enough, and that we just have to keep outputting into that wheel to keep it spinning, and if we stop, then that means we don't get the result. But even if we spin the wheel, we don't feel like we're getting that much closer. Going from there to over here, where you reap the rewards of the work that you've put in, it feels reciprocal. You don't have to work harder to earn more transformation and more change. And actually, when you're over here, what it feels like is that the urgency, the need for things to change quickly actually starts to fall away. And that's not to say that change doesn't happen and that change then has to happen slowly and you have to give up and let go of this idea that change is going to happen for you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that because you are connected to your body, which is connected to your present moment and present experience in your body, that is why it actually feels to your nervous system like it's safe to be here now. Like it's safe to be here in your process, whatever step you're at in your process is fine. It's really okay. And that this is the place that you feel that there are no actual consequences to not getting there. This is the place where you feel like even if you took longer to get there, you would still be okay. Your life would still be amazing. You would still be loved. You would still feel good, confident, and connected to yourself. There's these two different modes, and like the big jump that I made from this side of the kind of hamster wheel energy to this side where it was easeful and change happens naturally because you feel safe to step into and embody it. If I could boil it down to just a few key steps and points that helps me get from here to there. This is challenging because there are quite a few things that I want to talk about, and I also don't want to overwhelm you with information. So I'll talk about a couple things here, and then you can catch the rest of them inside of my 3 Secrets to Embodied Breakthroughs and Lasting Transformation training, which I'm going to link in the description box below. But aside from what I talk about in the training, just so I can give you more, is something we've talked about in this channel before, but needs to be talked about as much as possible, and that is self-worth. I think that self-worth is such a key ingredient to claiming your wholeness. And wholeness matters in the context of making your breakthrough and getting to those next levels, stepping into that version of yourself that you're moving into and are destined to become, because the hamster wheel energy is driven by lack. If you're in your wholeness on this side, you're not missing anything. Everything that you're gaining, everything that's changing and shifting, you're receiving is extra. Because you're okay. You're already whole. You do not need this transformation to happen in order for you to feel safe, in order for you to feel worthy, in order for you to feel enough. Because you already are. Without the transformation, you are already enough. This is what self-worth can give to you. You might be thinking like, oh, well, if I had self-worth, then I would no longer want this transformation. But no, it's actually the other way around. Okay, let me put it this way. When you have your self-worth, transformation, it's a natural, embedded part, integral part of your process of moving through life. When you have your self-worth, you are not worried about who you're becoming. You're not worried about, are you going to be okay? Are you going to be taken care of? The person who has their wholeness may have those thoughts and experiences from past patterning, and they're able to stay in their secureness and say, yes, I am okay, even if those things did not exist for me today, did not show up for me today in my lived experience. They don't change like fundamentally how I feel about myself. Whereas the hamster wheel energy is coming from a place of lack. We feel the need to attain this breakthrough, this transformation, in order to validate the self-worth. I'm talking to my old self as I'm sharing this with you, because this took me so long to work through and to break free of, and I just want to share with you from my perspective like the difference between these two modes of doing the work, because this leads into my second point, which is that the intention with which you choose to do the work really matters in terms of how long you're breakthrough, your transformation, or change is going to last. I think that when you're stuck between one life, the life that you're living, and the one that you know or that you want to live and know is possible for you, I think that one thing that keeps a lot of women stuck in their old life is the intention with which we approach change. Because a lot of times we're trying to escape something. If you're like me, you found self-help work, self-healing, and are so driven by it and so passionate about it because there is something within you, around you, or about you that part of you wishes to escape from. And I say this with a lot of compassion because very few of us actually have the level of self-love and self-worth that is required to approach change from an embodied whole way. We just weren't taught that. Change is and was a survival tool and a way to adapt ourselves, to change ourselves, because our environment we could not control, or our environment or the people in it, the situations, the way we felt was not how we wanted it to be. We perceived that like the best way to adapt to that lack of control, the lack of stability, the chaos, was to change ourselves instead. And while there is a lot of power and wisdom in saying, yes, I have control over my reactions, my responses, my emotions, my mental state, my energy, I have control over how I respond and show up, it can also go too far and in an imbalanced way actually promote self-abandonment. And I think this is something that isn't pointed out as often, and I think is important to speak about, because ultimately change that comes from a place of self-abandonment, from not wholeness, from lack, trying to escape the present, the life or the parts of you or situations that you're not happy with, to try to jump or quantum leap into another life where none of these things exist anymore. This is tricky because a lot of methods out there that are based in mindset work, mindset reprogramming, affirmations, even visualization, journaling at times, can really reinforce this like need to change quickly and at the expense of leaving all of your parts that you don't want to bring with you behind. And I'm telling you from experience that this is not the way that breakthroughs can become your permanent lived reality. Change that lasts comes from a place of wholeness, because it's not something that we need, but it's something that we want. If we don't get what we want, it's not going to destroy us. It's not going to be completely devastating. Well, it will be emotionally, but you'll recover is what I'm saying, and it's not the end of the world. Why we can actually approach change from this place is because all parts of us feel safe. They feel okay. They feel cared for enough. Anything else that you add on top of it is just extra. Whereas with the hamster wheel kind of lack mentality, when we're trying to call in change from this place, the parts of you that are lacking something, that are driving this like urgency and hunger and desperation for change, when things don't end up sticking and lasting, and unfortunately it often becomes a negative feedback loop of when we don't get what we want, it's because we don't deserve it. And that's not true, but this is often what the wounded parts will believe when we are approaching change from a place of we need this to happen now, and if it doesn't, then it's gonna change the way I feel about myself. There's a butterfly flying around. Confirmation. So it wouldn't be right for me to talk about steps to embodiment without actually talking about the embodiment piece. So I know you've already been doing so much work, and I just want to encourage you and let you know that it's not really even at this point, if you feel like you're on the edge of a breakthrough because you've just been putting in the work for such a long time and you're looking for that last missing piece, I want you to know that it is most likely not that you need to do like more hard work. It's just that the type of work that you're doing might need to shift a little bit, because our bodies need to get involved in the process, because our bodies are the connecting point between the internal and the external. Embodiment itself as a concept means getting your body involved in the process. So all of this mindset work, visualization, affirmations, journaling, energy work, even spiritual work, all of that is so beneficial and so important. And it's like most likely backlogged in your system because your body, your nervous system hasn't yet processed it all. So if you're feeling like that could be the case for you, if you're feeling like, oh, like that feels like exactly the situation that I'm in, then I'm going to link you the Embodied Worth course that I have in the description box below. It's a 4-week course that uses a number of different really powerfully layered tools that include embodiment, somatic work, somatic parts work, intuitive movement. Just my favorite tools, and makes it super potent and precise yet not overwhelming, so that your body can actually start to process this backlog of work that you've been doing for years because we both know that you deserve to receive those results into your reality and for them to land finally. These were the tools that really helped me, like with that last step, that last little push, like into from all of that internal change that I've been building up and accumulating over the years, and like inevitably pushed out into the external reality, because that's just what it does when your body gets involved. So that's for if you've been doing the work for a long time and then you're just like, I just need that like final little push. And then I also want to talk to you about the 3 secrets to embodied breakthroughs and lasting transformation training. So with that one, we talk about 3 key concepts. We talked about one of them briefly here with the abandoning your parts concept, but we really break it down even further inside of this training. I can't really get into it fully in one video here on YouTube, because I could literally be here talking for hours and hours on end and still wouldn't really cover it all. But inside of this training, we get to start like unraveling what it means to actually move through resistance in your body. And what's unique about this is that it's not just nervous system regulation, it's not just the general sensations of discomfort in your body when it comes to like fear, anxiety, whatever resistance you're feeling to change. It's also very closely related to any physical sensation, symptoms, and discomfort or pain that you're having in your body. So I talk about that more in that video, because moving through discomfort in the body, literally and physically, is a huge part of embodiment, and it wouldn't be right for me to talk about embodiment if I didn't talk about these pieces too. So that's what I have for you today. Thanks for joining me for this chat outside. Let me know in the comments how this landed for you and what kinds of shifts and transformations that you're calling in. I would love to help cheer you on and support you. Thank you so much for all of your likes, comments, subscribes, shares. It really helps support this channel. Wishing you a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.